Hello and welcome everyone to this week's COT review. I'm Thomas from COTbase.com, and today we're going to be looking at the 25th Commitments of Traders Report of 2020. And as we always do, we will be starting off the review by looking at the largest changes in commercials positions. You can see we've got a 49% change in commercials positions, 48 in large speculators, and there's a 23% change in small speculators. There's no question that this change is much greater than average because it's actually the largest change in the past 1 year. It is a bearish COT change signal suggesting weakness coming early next week, possibly in the Australian dollar. So the weakness that we've witnessed in the past couple of days should continue based on the report. If we move on to the 5 years chart, we get a chance to look at the COT Extreme situation. And you can see that with this sudden move, we've reached a 114 report extreme in commercials, 110 report extreme in large speculators, and this is definitely a relative bearish COT extreme. It could easily strengthen to even greater levels, of course, because if you look back to September of 2017, we've seen a much greater extreme back then. So that that signals that caution is advised because we may see a much greater extreme. Nevertheless, we can definitely state from this recent report that both of our major signals, the COT change and the COT extreme, are pointing downwards in the Australian dollar. The next market that we will analyze is the dollar index, and we are of course not surprised to see we have a bullish COT change signal, 21% change in commercials positions, 21 in large speculators, suggesting further increase in the value of the dollar index. And if we move on to the 5 years chart, you can also see that with this move, we've reached a significant bullish COT extreme level, 132 report extreme in commercials, 123 report extreme in large speculators, definitely suggesting in the medium to long term strength in the dollar, the US dollar. Okay, the next market will be the Kansas City wheat, where we have a 21% change in commercials positions. Here we go. You can see the 21% change over there on the chart. It is definitely greater than average. We've seen greater changes in the past, but of course, it doesn't mean that this change would not be effective. It's definitely much greater than average. A bullish change signal suggesting some strength happening in the Kansas City wheat in the next couple of days, possibly. Move on to the 5 years chart. You get a chance to look at the extreme, which is, again, correlating with the change signal, so it means we've got a bullish COT extreme situation over here, suggesting some strength coming in the medium to long term as well. If we move on to large speculators COT extreme, we've got the dollar index we talked about, followed by the euro. So let's open the euro for a second, and of course we're not surprised to see a bearish COT extreme over there in large speculators, and of course also in commercials as well. So supporting the analysis that we've done on the Australian dollar, the dollar index, we are witnessing some signals in CO2 reports all over currencies that we should be expecting some dollar strength in the medium to long-term horizon. Of course, it's quite visible. You can see what happened to the euro when we had that significant bearish extreme in the market. We are getting very, very close to those levels. So we should see that take an effect on the market. We talked about the Australian dollar, the true US dollar index, something for subscribers. The Kansas City wheat, again, we talked about that. So let's open coffee, which is our next market on the list over here. And here we go. You can see that extreme 31 report extreme in large speculators. Of course, the number itself does not really mean anything. But if you look at the charts, you can see that we are definitely somewhere in between the two major extremes. This 2016, the November of 2016, we had that beautiful bearish extreme in the market. Just at that top, we had a wonderful bullish COT extreme signal in September of 2018, and we are more or less in between those two extremes, possibly a bit closer to bullish levels, I would say, suggesting we may see some medium to long-term strength in the coffee market. And last but not least, let's open the heating oil, where we have a 23 report extreme in large speculators. And you can see that on the chart over there. You have to really look at a wider perspective. That's why I always open the 5 years chart. And if you look at that, you can see that we are still a bit closer to bullish COT extreme levels. The last major extreme was that bullish extreme, which did not take effect just after a couple of weeks time. And eventually we are seeing some strengthening in the market. But as that's happening, we are seeing also traders taking positions away from those bullish extreme levels, decreasing that bullish extremeness in the market. And we're not, of course, at any bearish extreme, that's for sure, more or less in between. We're moving away from those bullish extreme levels. I would actually jump over that. I wouldn't come to any significant conclusion from the COT report's perspective on heating oil. I would say in this recent review, I would definitely be focusing more on currencies, possibly more better opportunities over there. But don't forget, this is just a brief review of markets. We have a lot to do here at COT Base. You can look at new COT report types, other data types, the options only data, very special and unique here at COT Base. You can look at other data sets if you wish. And of course, you may analyze all sorts of markets, not just the ones that we are showing to you in this review. Of course, digging deeper is also available by looking at other COT changes, multiple report changes on a different look back period if you wish. You can dig deeper in the COT Extreme analysis by looking at the COT Index, possibly the MOVE Index if you wish. We have our unique long-term trend indicator, and of course, we also analyze volume and open interest as well. So a lot to do here. I hope you enjoyed this review. I appreciate your attention. I wish you a pleasant weekend. Take care. Goodbye.